Welcome to Level Up Academy TV show tonight here, right on E360 TV. Welcome, everybody. I am so happy, so glad that you are here. If you were able to attend our audio room today, I felt like a real DJ, y'all. You're like, how about this music? How about that music? I'm like, my finger's not fast enough to type this music, but let's go. And I love my Filipino sisters coming up and singing with me. That was such a good energy to start our Sunday. That is called the Dynamic Village. We are having that every single Sunday at 7:30 a.m. PST until 9 a.m. PST. It's there for the community open, right? You can bring in your problems, whatever that is, but keep it positive. And if you come up with a problem, you better give me a solution too, right? That's how we work it. We can't just talk about negative this and negative that and do this. We got to come up with a solution. There's way too many problems already. So you need to solve your own problem and ask people, ask everyone in that room to see how we can work and collaborate together. I am all about collaboration over competition. Tonight, I am super excited right now. Season 3, episode 4 of Level Up, right? Every Sunday. You guys know my mission to level up the world through education. And tonight, I'm going to be educated on numbers of destiny. Raschell and I actually connected with Dr. Nupi, our sister from another mister. And I love Dr. Nupi. You all know this. I know she's busy. But when someone refers you to somebody and you are like, okay, I'm open, and I talked to Rochelle, I felt like I knew her without knowing her. I don't know if that makes sense. But anyway, that's how I feel. I hope the vibe was the same for her. But for me, that's how I felt like, oh, wow, where were you when I needed this conversation? And I really love that. And she was in our magazine, Level Up Circle magazine, because this woman, okay, is so passionate about helping others through her own pain, through her own adversity. She turned her pain, right, into purpose of helping our community. And that's what I love about this conversation. See, were you as excited as I am? Oh my gosh, we have an anthropologist in there, Osma award winning writer in there, right? Like community builder, light language. Lily's there too. Like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Like, I am not like Lily and Kimley. I need to put them together because they're all about calming my butt down. Can I say ass? No, I don't think I can. YouTube, I'm sorry for saying that. But anyway, like calming me down. I love that. And this energy and this power in one is explosive. So thank you for being a rebel with a cause. This is our new book. Mark your calendar, people. September 6th, that's where we're coming out with our ebook. You better be there. And our one of our co-author, um, Jess Harvey, passed away recently. So we are honoring her on that chapter because she wanted to be, she was super excited to be in it. And we want to honor her in her memory and create a chapter just for her. And proceeds to our book is going to be in for a nonprofit organization that she believes. Autism and definitely mental health is something that we are aiming for. I am looking for four organizations that she was connected to so I can put it in memory of her. We are global citizens. We are not rich people by any means, but I am rich with friends, you all. I'm grateful. All right, are you guys ready? I'm gonna stop talking now because I'm excited, like a kid in the candy store for real. But hopefully Raschell will be ready for me. I hope she's ready for me. Are you ready, Raschell? Yeah, she gives me a thumbs up. Hello, everybody. Okay, first of all, see this one right here? What is this magazine, right? This is what? Level Up Circle Soul Hearted. She is amazing. You guys, it's already on levelupwithdoc.com. Look it up. I wrote about her based on my interaction with her, based on looking at her profile, what she does for the community, advocating for personal empowerment as a transformational coach and speaker, right? She's committed to helping others harness their inherent strengths to create lives they love. I want to talk about that right now, tonight. Okay, so Rachel's going to be here. So here's another thing. I created a journal. Again, proceeds to this goes in memory of Jess. This is a journal for people who could not join us for any reason on Rebel with a Cause. So half of this journal is a to-do list, literally, because I don't know about you all, but I got so much going on. I need myself to get together here. I'm also old school. I'm a kinesthetic learner and a visual learner. I learn from doing and from looking. Like if I see a text, I could do it. I manage to read books, but I really would love, and I quickly learn if I list them down. And so I have notes, dates, follow up, to do list, call, email, and also reminder. And then the rest of it is notes. And tell yourself and tell me and share with me, what is your cause? You are a rebel with a cause. You just don't know it yet. But this will be our book, and I'm redoing this in memory of Jess as well. So let me bring Raschell. Hi.
Hi.
I know. Look how. Okay, first of all, I was telling her, I'm like, girl, you are radiating. She's
Oh,
like,
thank
I'm
you.
glad I'm getting this because it is 10 p.m. where I'm at. I'm like, well, it doesn't matter. You're gorgeous. I can see and feel that love. So, Raschell,
Yes.
can you tell us who you are? Kind of bring back 20 years, really, of where you were, and kind of just show us like significant timeline in your life of 20 years ago, and then kind of bring us today, like a trailer, if you will, of your life.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I would have to say I went through a lot of turmoil 20 years ago that put me on this path. And I made decisions at that time that were centered around my children. They were centered around my personal well being. And I chose to leave a very abusive relationship because it wasn't good for myself or my children, and walked away and became a single mom, which everybody told me I could not do. And in defiance, I said, well, it's the lesser of the two evils. Do I stay there or, go out on my own? And I think at that point, taking that first step was probably the hardest, but it taught me to be resilient in the choices that I made. It taught me to stand up for myself, and it taught me to believe in myself. And it also taught me to change the story. So as I progressed through life over that 20 years, I made myself aware of the story that I was telling myself. So if I was constantly saying life sucked and this was horrible, then that's exactly what I got. So I started to switch those stories, and I started to make better sounding stories that no matter what was going on, it was always getting better. It would always end up in a good way. There was always a lesson in whatever I was learning. And I taught this to my children. And in fact, my children would say, my mom just never gives up. Even if it's really crappy, my mom will just say, there'll be an answer somewhere. I'm not going to give up. There's always a reason we're going through this, to show us something positive. And so that started to shift. I walked away from the corporate world. I'd had enough. I wasn't myself. I felt like I had a 300-pound sumo wrestler sitting on my chest. So I quit one day. No idea what I was going to do, and started to build my first entrepreneurial business. And that lasted for a good 10 years. But during that time, towards the end of it, I started to get this sort of premonition, intuition feeling of there's more. There's something more that I need to do. And that's when I realized, and that's when I created the second company, Roots for Success, where I started to really empower people on shifting that story, beginning to understand that you too could do the same thing as I did. It's just a matter of switching what you're telling yourself. And that morphed into what I do today, which is supporting entrepreneurs, supporting business owners, supporting single moms, supporting anybody out there who is stuck in their life and wants to move in a direction where they can really feel that they can have a full life. Because sometimes people, and I'll hear this a lot, they'll say, oh, I can't do this because this is the way my family's always done it. And that's where I call BS, because I'm like, just because something was good for your family 20 years ago doesn't mean that it's good for you now. So you have to be a trailblazer. You have to create the life that you want, because you, and this is what I tell my kids every day, you are the most important person in your life, and only you will love you the best. It's true. Even as a mother, I tell my kids that. So I that's how I ended up getting into this and creating my podcast, The Transformational Soul Talk, so I could really share people's stories from all over the world about how they transformed, what they went through, whether it was a small challenge, a big challenge, whatever it was what got them over the hump. Because I always believe that the empowerment of your story leaves the trajectory of your life. So where you're going is what you're telling yourself. So, yeah, I hope that's given you some insight.
I love that. I'm telling you, when I say you turn your pain into purpose, that is so true, like more than ever, right? And I had a conversation with one of my bestie tonight too, like this afternoon, and he's going through a bunch of things just like any of us, right? There's times where it doesn't matter how strong you are of your conviction of your values.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes when we take so much negativity and we keep it inside, it's like I'm giving up, I'm done, it's just too much, right? And I told him, listen, think of yourself as like a messenger. We all are messenger, right? I don't care who spirituality, we're all messenger. So
Mm-hmm.
instead of keeping, like, people are always going to give you feedback, even if you don't ask for it. They just give it to you, right? So when people give you that feedback, you're a messenger. So you have a choice. You can either keep all those negative energy and negative things and keep it in, like, why do people like this, right? And it gets overwhelming. Like, imagine yourself of getting you have fan letters, and there's hundreds of thousands of fan letters. Do you think you can read all of that? Heck no. My
No.
my email right now is like 140,000 email. Do you think I'm going to read all that? No, of course not, right? Some of them are probably mostly junk. But here's the thing. I said it's not for you to keep. If you don't want that energy and you don't
Mm-hmm.
want that things, return to sender. Hello. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to
Mm-hmm.
accept that. And I love that you said that. Whatever you put in your mind, whatever story you believe in yourself, that's what you're living in. So if
Yes.
your choices and you're believing yourself that you're not good enough, that you're a POS and all of these things, yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
how you're going to feel,
Yeah.
right? But if
And
you're
even,
saying,
yeah.
yeah, go for it,
No,
Rochelle.
I was just going to say, and even if you have crappy days, which we all do, myself included, sometimes those crappy days, I just say, well, you know what? Just go to bed a little earlier and sleep it off. And the next day you can do it all over again, and you can change it and make it the way you want. It doesn't mean that the world ends. Just you've had enough and it's a rough day. Go to bed early. Have a good night's sleep. And when you get up, you'll have peace of mind on how you can deal with things. And I always say, go to bed asking yourself, how can I work with this? And in the morning, I guarantee you'll have an inspiration or an answer of how you can work through that challenge.
Yeah. And like you said, you have to be your biggest fan, because at the end of the day, you do have yourself. And I always tell my
Yes.
kids, listen, you were born out of me, but you were born by yourself. You're going to die by yourself. It's not often where you die with your parents at the same time. It's always one or the other, right? So I all I'm saying is that you're not alone in this walks of life. It's a choice if you want to be alone. But why carry all
Mm.
that burden when you can be with surrounded with people who are there for you, not against you? However, it is hard to navigate in the sea of people sometimes, right? Like, it's hard. Now I want to ask you, like, how what kind of tools and navigational things that keeps you grounded, Rochelle?
Well, I think for me, I always tell my friends and my children, you are the sum of the five people that you hang out with. So you really have to look at who are your friends and what are you learning from them. And those are tools, because if you're not learning from your friends, if you are the smartest person in the group, then you need to go find some new friends. That is the biggest tool, because you will always learn from other people. And so expanding your circle of friends, and your friends should change. You may have one or two, maybe a handful of friends that you keep for a very long time, but you will have what I call acquaintances. And those are your tools to constantly learn and grow. But if you continuously have the same people, the same things, you're not growing, not at all. So that, I think, is the most important thing. Um, and then, I just, one of my biggest with my kids and big lesson there for you. And sometimes, even though it looks really challenging, that will end up being a lesson that may serve you really well down the line. So always be in gratitude of, okay, this happened, but you know what? It could have been this or this. It was only this. So let's just move forward. And next time I'll make better choices. So those are two things that I like to use. And then the third, which I've had in my toolbox since I was probably, oh, I'm going to say 15, when my father is an engineer and he decided to study numerology. And he came home one day and said, right, we're going to shift a few things. And of course, at first we were like, okay, what's going on? And then he said, well, we're going to change your name. We're going to do this. And so what 15-year-old doesn't want to change their name? They get to pick your own name. But the numerology was something that I was very intrigued by. It has been part of my life. It has been in my toolbox along with those other couple of things that I mentioned, because it guides my life. I use it for every year. I use it every month, because we as souls choose to come into this reality, and we choose an expression. And that expression can give us all different types of um, experiences depending on what we choose. Now, there are 9 expressions, 1 to 9, as there are 1 to 9 cycles in the universe. And not to make this complicated, but to understand, numerology is like the law of vibration. So with every movement, fast and slow, the rate of speed becomes vibration and that frequency. So just like quantum physics, just like mathematics, you change the frequency or you change the mathematical combination, you get a different outcome. So even though you choose to come in and express one of those numbers, 1 to 9, it can also change by the name that you are given. And numerology has been around a really long time. Like, I'm going back to probably about 500, I'd say 500 BCE. Pythagoras was also the Babylons out as well, out also out of India, the Vedas, back to 1200 BCE. And all of them, they are a little bit different, but all of them are based on the cycle of 1 to 9. Every single number in the universe breaks down to one of the numbers between 1 and 9. And so you can, like my father, who was an engineer and very good at maths, basically said, you can never change your date of birth. That is something your soul has chose, but you can always change your name. And if you think about people that are very big in celebrities, very big in the limelight, a lot of them change their names. You think about some of the big ones out there: Pink, Madonna, Prince. They've all changed their names. Those are not their birth names.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it has to do with the combination of the numbers. So every language out there every language basically has the same sequence, 1 to 9 in the alphabet in every language, and then it repeats again until the end of the alphabet. So each letter has a vibration. That's why I said if you change the vibration, you change the name, you change the vibration, you change the outcome. So I've used it a lot. I've used it in business with my clients and guided me to make decisions on buying things, traveling, purchasing, marrying, not getting married. I've used it a lot. So yeah, and
Wow.
it's really started to grow in the last couple of years. And I'm glad because like I said, it's thousands and thousands of years old.
I actually want to learn that now. I'm actually curious, like, how, because I've heard three or four people now. Though, can you explain exactly like what is numerology? Like, how does that work? I know you talk about 1 through 9 and changing your names, and also like the vibration. Like, how does that really work? Like, what is the significance of knowing numerology to your life?
So, in like I said at the beginning, your soul, right,
Mm-hmm.
chooses to come into this lifetime and experience an expression. Now, there are only 9 expressions. And so you choose to be a 1, a 5, a 3. You come in to express and experience that. So you have ones like the pioneer, the scientist, like that's the vibration of it, the celebrity, the spiritual leader, there's all different ones. So your soul chooses that. You can never change that. But your name gives off a vibration. And so when you match the two of them together, those numbers have to be in balance. So the vibrational breakdown of your name. So if you're a 5 and then your name is a different number that is not in balance with the 5, then you're ultimately not going to have a balanced life. It's always going to have ups and downs. So when you have the two in balance, then you have more success, which is why my father chose to change our first and our last names, which of course my family in the UK freaked out on. They were like, "Oh my God, why did you do that?" But my father didn't care. He's like,
Yeah.
"No." And so the whole first and last names were changed because, and when I looked at what the vibration of my original birth name was, and then what my name that I chose, very different person, very different person.
Now I'm
So,
thinking like, I wonder what my name's gonna be.
well, you may have a balanced name.
I don't know. I'm gonna
You'd
have to
have
talk to you about that.
Yeah,
Like, I don't
you'd
know.
have to calculate it out. But it does, and even if you chose not to do it, and there are people that
Yeah,
have figured it out and said, you know what, I don't want to change my name. I'm happy, and I'm like, that's great. But they've also looked at, well, how can I figure out what cycle I'm in? Because then it goes down to the cycle that you're in. So you go 1 to 9, and then you repeat again 1 to 9. And through those years are like your planting years. You plant your seeds, you start to water it, you start to see the growth of it, you start to have challenges with that. And then as that grows, you get abundance, and then it starts all over again. And so you have those cycles. You then also have, you can break it down to the month and to the day. I had a lady who was in real estate who had a big program she wanted to put out a couple of years ago. And we named her company and her program through numerology, and we picked the days of her events specifically so that she would do really well. So yeah, there is a lot to it. I don't do every day, but it guides me. So I know when you're making big decisions in your life on events or real estate or marriage or whatever it is, buying a car, I look at the vibration of the month and the day to make sure that it's a good time.
that's it.
Because
I'm gonna make it my mission to learn numerology now. That's gonna be like,
it,
okay, forget
it
masters right now. We're gonna do numerology study because I'm really interested. Here's the thing: someone already did my numbers, right?
hmm
And they told me and explained to me like, because I was asking like, okay, why am I like this? Like, why do I feel like I've always volunteered like nobody's business? I mean, when I was in high school, right, the city of where I lived, the mayor
hmm
gave me the key because that's how many, I mean, like, I volunteered 1,000 hours for my
mm
city as a high school student. And so they give me, I was the mayor for the day. They gave me the key to the city.
hmm
And I've always been like that. I've always volunteer and give and give and give. And I'm like, is there something within my soul? Like I'm trying to
What
repent, you know?
do you
And
know
she's
what
like,
they Did she give you the number as to what you were, what your
Oh
soul
man, she
showed?
gave it to me, but she told me something about like this is my year that I've already like repented all my sins, and she told me that
Okay.
I literally in the past was like a selfish person probably who just like wants everything about me, and then now I'm repenting that with this next soul that I have, and that's why I have feel the need to like really give back to the community because I truly want to give back. And I don't know why, but I always feel that need. Like, I don't care if it hurts me, people try to gossip and hurt me, it doesn't matter. I'm going to keep going and keep giving.
Hmm.
And I don't know why it's that feeling of the need. And I also had like during my younger days, I used to talk to my pastor. I'm like, why am I attracting people who are a bunch of losers? Like, why am I having this negativity? Right? No, seriously. I had to reflect that. It's like friends. I don't really have that many boyfriends. I never really go out, but like the friends that I keep, the company that I keep always ended up like I'm giving them so much, but I always ended up the wrong person, like always. And I was a hothead. I had some, issues and
Hmm.
abandonment and all that. So when I react, it's through violence. Like either I will run you over my car or I will throw something at you. Like that was who I was, right? Like
Oh,
I was
wow.
right? And so I told my pastor, I'm like, I'm gonna end up in jail. Like I'm gonna need to be a lawyer to like defend my own self. And he's like, no, I think it is what it is that you have to go through this pain, because you're trying to repent. And I'm like, repent what? I don't even remember what sin I have. And so the conversation kind of stopped. And sometimes he's like, you have to go through this because you have lessons that you need to learn, but you're not
Hmm.
keeping it to yourself. It's for you to learn something. But when you're in that angry state, when you're in that
Yeah.
disbelief state, what lesson? I just want to that person, right? Like that's how you feel. But now that
Yeah.
I'm older, I feel like, okay, you know what? He's right. I don't have to keep all this pain. I'm giving it back to the sender. I don't need to keep it. It's not mine to keep. It's their energy, right? And
Hmm.
so I'm feeling that now, like the alignment slowly. I'm like, maybe I have the wrong name, the wrong birthday. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I can't
Well,
help
you
that.
could never change your birthday, so
I
unfortunately, you can't change that. But
Well, here's the
you
thing with
do,
Chinese. You have
you
two
do
birthdays.
change. You have two birthdays. Well, because you were born not in the United States. You were born
Yeah,
somewhere
so I
else.
was born
Ah,
in the
okay.
Philippines, but I'm a Chinese background, so we're very like even though I was born in the Philippines, I wasn't really raised Filipino. It's more of a Chinese, very strict Chinese household. So
Hmm.
I have Chinese name that my grandfather gave me and my family. What they do is they look at you for the first 2 years of your life and see how you interact with your cousins, with your family. And they
Hmm.
named me Chua Sim Sim. And I said, what does that mean? She goes, you've always been a loving child. You
Mm.
hug people, you care about people, you fight for people. You can't even talk. And you were already like that. They were like really watching. And so they
Hmm.
call me Chua Sim Sim, which is love. And so I actually have a tattoo called love because that's my Chinese name.
Oh,
So I said,
nice.
yeah. So I'm like, okay, I'll keep that. And I'm like, why am I giving love, but I'm not getting love? What is happening here? Right?
It could be your name. I mean, we'll have to talk more about it and figure out what your soul chose to come and express, and then from there we can figure out. Yeah.
Yeah, I need that help. Like, I need help.
Because it does. I mean, I'm sure people have heard of, people changing their name, moving away, and then suddenly, becoming destitute, or changing their name and becoming winning the lottery or becoming very rich. It really just depends on the vibration of the name, if it matches with what your expression is. So numerology, like I said, it's something that's guided my life, and I'm now noticing a lot of people are starting to use it because they realize that it's been around for a very long time, and a lot of people use it. A lot of people do.
Wow. I just want to give love to YouTube where there's about almost 900 people watching us live. Thank you, YouTube. I appreciate
Nice.
you very much. I appreciate the love. I wanted to also go back on, can you tell us about like the master numbers, right? Like 11, 22, 33. Like people are saying this. I'm like, what? I'm so confused. What does that mean, a master number? Can you like
So
describe that?
there are master numbers. There's 11, there's 11, 22, and 33. I don't work a lot with them, but I do know master number 11, which is actually what I am. It breaks down to an 11 and then down to a 2. But that is someone who uh, is here to support humanity and to really shift people in the way that they think, and to really bring a lot of happiness and clarity in life. And the number 11 is one that holds both the feminine and the masculine energies. Like it can go back and forth. It's a very sort of back and forth. 22 is more of a feminine, but like I said, I don't know them specifically. That is something that I haven't really dived into. And then there's also 33. So there are three master numbers, but I can't speak to it exactly, because I break them down into single digits, and work with the 1 to 9 cycle, which is more of the Pythagoras. Mm, So I hope that.
Yeah, Ollie was actually asking that. I'm like, man, Pythagorean theorem. I've been working in that for a while. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I love math. Yeah, because I was like, people are always saying, hey, 22 is a master architect. I'm like, what
Yeah.
does that mean? What is that, master architect? And they're basically saying, hey, it carries the vibration of both the number two and the number four. I'm like,
Hmm.
first of all, I don't even understand the numbers the way you guys understand the numbers. So I can't even like have that conversation. It's like, yeah, it's just amplified energy and potential and all of these
Yes.
things. And I'm like, okay, well, first of all, I need to know my number first before we even go to the master number. I forgot what she told me. Um, I forgot what she told me in terms of my number. I think she said I was 22, but I'm not positive on that because I knew she gave it to me, for
Hmm.
me to kind of realize all my full potential. But I was like, I don't know what that means exactly. But I'm so glad that we're having this conversation because I don't understand numerology. I'll be honest with you, but I do believe that certain amount of numbers, certain amount of I'm very open, right? I'm very open. Like I always tell people, hey, I'm a born again Christian, but I curse a lot. God's helping me right now. Lower that, right? And my birds help me because my bird curses too. Um, and my dad is Catholic and my mom's Buddhist.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, so we're pretty open
Yeah.
to
Well,
all of that. Yeah.
it's just vibration. So if you understand quantum physics, if you understand anything to do in along those lines, Albert Einstein, Tesla, it's all a vibration. And based on the vibration, the speed or the rate of the vibration, like I said earlier, you get the frequency. Just like when you tune in on a radio station, you get that static and then you finally get the station. It's the same with the vibration of the number. Once you are balanced, you start the full essence of that number starts to come in to fruition and you start to really live that life. Whereas if you're not balanced, you're constantly kind of in that staticky, area, like as if you were trying to tune in. That's the
I'm
best way I could
definitely in
describe
static.
it.
Yeah, I'm in static mode. Yep, that's me.
Well, we're gonna have to figure out what your after the show. We're gonna have to figure out what your life path was, what you chose, because that'll give you some understanding right there.
I'm like, I need to tune in. What is the frequency we need to be here? Please help me. Like, I don't know what frequency I need to tune in. I'm in static mode. I All I know and all I can tell you is that I find happiness in helping others. I'm not
Hmm.
a rich person, but if I can make someone smile,
Hmm.
I'm in the happiest mode ever. I don't know how to explain that. It's just so weird. Like I'm at peace when I hear even just say, "Hey, thank you for making me feel this way." I'm like, "Wow, okay, great. I'm loving this." Right? But I feel like that is where I'm at, whether it's online or offline. And I volunteer also here, for kids and children in my local community for reading and writing and math. I used to do STEM program for robotics because I like to fly
Hmm.
drones and tinker with robots. That's my other geeky side. But I love it. I love conversations. I do journalism. I do art. I do pretty much everything because I try to exercise left and right brain, um, to really get my full potential because I only have one life to live. Why
You do.
not?
You do have one life to live in this moment in time. So I always say, why not experience everything and enjoy everything and don't worry about what anybody else says. Who cares? It's
I
your
know.
life.
Yeah.
So enjoy it to the fullest because, as I always say, what you think of me is not my business. That's yours.
Yeah, it's inconsequential. Like, doesn't matter. I know people are like, my girlfriend. I just had a mom. We have a mom retreat, right? Like our kids already graduated because I've been moms with these kids since my kids were like in elementary school. And so our kid, like my oldest is 20, she's out of the house, right? But I'm still hanging out with the moms. And so we were talking about it yesterday and they're like, CJ, I saw you on TikTok. You were blonde, but why are you dark hair? I'm like, girl, I got 20 wigs at my house. Just keep them coming. Like, what? Right? And they're like, how do you? I was like, listen, if you let other people live in your head, what
Mm-hmm.
you're supposed to do and what you're not supposed to do. You're always going to live like that and you're going to die like that, trying to please people that you think cares about you. No, why would you do that to yourself?
Yeah, it's true.
Right? Well, do what you want, do what you love, so long as you're not hurting people, so long as you're
Mm-hmm.
helping the community. I'm all for you. I will root for you, right? And that's what
Mm-hmm.
I love. Now, Rochelle, what are you doing right now, especially with numerology? And how can we help support you? Like, how is numerology really helping, like, spiritual and metaphysical practice and in our lives? How can we do that?
So I think if more people learned how to just do the basics, just figure out what their expression is, and then figure out whether their name and their life path are balanced. And once they figure out that, then you can make decisions whether you want to change your name or you don't want to change your name. Listen, back in biblical times, people were the son of Abraham, the son of Joseph, the son of Muhammad. They weren't great big long names in most cultures because those names already had good vibration. So when people have a really long, complicated name, it's a lot of adding up the numbers to see what it ends up to. So sometimes it's just very simple to have a simple name. But if people want to make those changes, they can simply connect with me. I'm on YouTube. They can connect with me on LinkedIn. If they got questions, I'm always open because it's your life. It's your choice what you want to do with it. It's nobody else's. You're the one who has to live with it. So, like I said earlier, the stories you create, they should be your stories, not someone else's stories. Your life that you create is your life. You do what you want with it. Don't worry about what everybody else thinks because that's theirs. And
Yeah,
that's my mantra for everything.
I love it. My mantra is go big or go home. Go
Go
big
big.
or go
Go.
home. Like that's it.
Yes, go big or go home. Exactly.
Um,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I don't do half, ASS to anything. I will go and do what I love when I want it, where I want it, whom I want it. If you want to be part of this boat of craziness but positive energy, let's go yesterday. But if
Yeah.
you want to be negative Nelly and all that, listen, the world is gone crazy. Okay, we do not need to be part of that craziness. We need to be crazy happy because we have one life to live. I could die after this show, but I'm happy that I get to know Rochelle. Okay, I'm just
And
saying. I'm getting the
oh,
positive energy. Oh my gosh, right?
well, this
Let's
is
talk about your
this is
book.
so the book, The Journey of Transformation, with my two lovely authors, Lily Lee, who's in your book, and you're the lovely Dina Fortune. Yes. So we have that came out in March, but we are having a LinkedIn live experience on September the 9th, where we're going to share about the book, how it came to be, how Lily and Dina and I all met. One lives in New York, the other one lives in North York, and I live in Toronto, and how we all met and we never knew each other prior to the book. And it's an incredible book. What did Dina say? She said it's almost like an oracle card. She said when you read the book, because the book is an experience. It is channeled messages that I channeled over 7, 8 years ago when I was going through a really tough time. Had no idea what they were. Started writing them down, and so many years later, I connect with Lily and Dina, and then we start matching the art and the light language, and we put it all together. And it came to the book, The Journey of Transformation through the Art of Words and Codes. And it really is, it's an experience because you look at the art, you read the words, and it does. Dina says she flips the book sometimes and she looks at it, and whatever it ends, that's where she reads, and it gives her inspiration for the day. So,
I love that. And can we find your book on Amazon?
yes, you can. Yeah, we
What was
actually,
it? Wait,
it,
hold on. Let me look it up.
mhm.
What was the name of the book? Wait, let me hold on. Let me
It's
check Amazon.
the,
Go ahead.
sure,
And the title?
The Journey of Transformation.
Okay, so I actually am part of Amazon's global influencer program. So I'm going to add this. Now, there's quite a bit in there. Which one is it? There's a lot of journey of transformation. So I'm going to put Rochelle.
Um, should be because it should be on my author page.
There it is.
Yes, should have
Okay.
lovely Dina's artwork on it.
Oh, wow. That's Dina's. I love Dina. She's my sister from another mister. And now I got to work with Lily in this book.
Yes.
Like, I'm so excited. I'm going to put the, hold on, guys. I'm going to create a QR code really quickly. I'm on the fly right now, aren't I? Yeah, the journey um, of transformation. I'm going to give you guys, I'm just going to put the journey because it won't work in that one. So here's the QR code, people. That is in Amazon. Please read that. And then on September 9th, you guys are going to have 5 p.m. EST is going to be the show. It's
Hmm.
2 p.m. PST. One way or another, I'm going to have all three of you all sisters on the show together with me. It's going to be a party.
It will
Uh,
be.
yeah,
Be a party.
party. Yes, wig and all. I love that because we are helping level up the world through educating different ways of showing up for yourself.
Hmm. Yep.
Just because it doesn't work for somebody else doesn't mean it's not going to work for you. You
Yep.
have to believe and you have to be open. Here's the problem with people. Oh my God, this is so weird. Like, what is that, right? It's because you're closed minded. It's because you have expectations. It's because you think people are weird. Listen, everybody is weird, one way or another. Who wants to be normal? Like, seriously, that is so boring. But, like, you have to be open to possibilities. Opportunities will knock on your door by the droves when you're open to possibilities,
Hmm.
right? I mean,
So,
you
so
truly
true.
believe that. When you truly believe that. But some
Yeah.
people say it, Rochelle, but their like actions are not like like me. Like, I don't know, I'm on limbo static right now, right? But I need to get tuned into that vibration so I can be the fullest of myself while I'm still earthly. Right?
Hmm.
While I can you can still feel my body and once I cross that rainbow bridge, I'm no longer here physically, but I'm sure I'll be here spiritually if you believe in Buddhism, right? It's that
Hmm.
reincarnation. So I always like I study all of these, like, all of the Virgin Marys. Like, I went to Catholic school. My teachers were nuns. Okay, I got beat up because, like, I earrings has to be studs. What do? I put dangling so I get in trouble. Your uniform has to be below your knee. So what I do is always above the knee because I want it to look cute. And so I would go bend down like this so that the dress looks like this. As soon as the nun's gone, I just go like this, and my skirt was so short. I get sent home.
Yeah, I bet you did.
Oh yeah. You know how many Our Fathers and Hail Marys that I have prayed because I got punished, right? And I was defiant because I grew up with no parents. I didn't have a mom
Hmm.
or dad, right? So I was like,
Hmm.
okay, whatever. No one's watching. I'm just gonna do what I want. And I think I was definitely a handful. I can say that when I was younger. And I feel bad for all the people who watched me grow up. I'm like,
Hey, but
I'm
it
so
was an experience, right?
yeah, it was definitely. Now, for your future, I'm sure you guys are going to be back here on TV as well. How do we, okay, live our fullest potential? How do we empower our life through numerology?
Hmm. I think the best, well, like I've said before, the best way to probably do it is first of all, find out what your expression is. And that is very simple. You simply take your birth date, that's your year, your birth month, and your birthday, and you add them all up. So you'd add, like, say, 1981, October, let's say the 30th. That will break down to a 23, and then you break that down to a 5. So that birth date, for anybody who's out there, and if they're born on that date, your expression is a 5. So you can Google that, or you can always reach out to me on YouTube or on LinkedIn and give you some insight as to what a 5. Fives are very intuitive, very quick thinkers. They are travelers. They love to travel and experience life. So once you understand that, then the next thing is, okay, now does my name balance with my life path? Is it giving me the full potential? And once you understand those things, then you start to understand, okay, now that's balanced. I know what I'm here for. And understanding then what cycle you're in. So we each are in different cycles. And based on those cycles, I know this is a lot of information to give at one time, you know where you are in your life. You know, if you're right at the beginning of the cycle, you're ready to start something new. Or if you're right at the end of a cycle and you're ready to sort of say, okay, you know, I need to think of how I'm going to pivot in the next direction and where I'm going to go. So it is very deep. There's a lot of different things. There's a lot of different mechanics that go with numerology. It's not just sort of one simple fix. But the best thing is to figure out what your expression is. So, what did your soul choose? Once you know that, then you have a better idea what you're here for. It gives you an sort of an inkling. Okay, that makes sense. Because you can always change your name, just a name.
Oh God, it would be I would be like having in trouble. I have a lot of names. I have a lot of names. Okay, you want to know my full name, Rochelle? Constance Jeffer James Dablo Chua Leland. That's my full
That's
name.
that's a lot. And do you sign all that whole name, or do you just sign?
Heck no, the DMV said cut your name. Passport people, cut your name. So
Yes.
now I just go with Constance C. Leland, right? My maiden name,
Okay.
which is Chua. That's my Chinese maiden name.
Yes.
And then my married name, Lee. I've been married 21 years, so yes, like I just have that. But if people wants to know, because it's like, okay, your name is Constance Leland. Where is the J coming from? I'm like, are you ready for this? Go sit down. Go sit down, because my parents think this is funny. They give me three, four different names, and so
Ah,
when I get upset and I'm like, I don't know, that was a Constance that came out, or maybe that was a Jeffer. I don't know. Maybe the James came out. I don't
it
know.
could be. You know what? If you're called different names by different things, you could be getting different vibrations that you're like, what the hell's going on? I'm
Yep.
just saying, right? Yeah.
That's my point. So when you said that, I was scared. I was like, "Oh my lord, where do I stay with this name thing?" Because,
Yes.
because here's the thing: my mom, her full name is Constance Jennifer, and I
Okay.
kind of resemble my mom, so that's why I'm a little mini her. So it's Constance Jeffer instead of
Okay.
Jennifer. I became a Jeffer.
Okay.
My grandmother calls me Jeff. When my husband and I were dating, she called my phone my husband was my boyfriend at that time. He picked it up because I was in the shower, and my grandma's like, "Can I talk to Jeff?" And
Oh
my
gosh.
husband's like, "There is no Jeff here." And my husband and my grandma's like, "No, no, this is my granddaughter's number. I am not senile. You put her on the phone right now. I need to talk to Jeff." And so then she's like, "Okay, she's in the shower. I'll have her call back." And then he started having attitude like, "Who is Jeff? Why does, your grandma know Jeff?" And da da da. I'm like, "That's my name." And he's like, "What? I thought you were a CJ." And I was like, "My grandma
Yeah.
calls me Jeff." And then my other grandma calls me Jiping, which is
Hmm.
little Jennifer.
Okay. So you
So
have multiple names that you're called. This is interesting, but I have heard this before. People have had one name, but everybody else calls them something else. And
yeah.
that can actually, again, shift the vibration because you're getting called something completely different than what you're signing. So you've almost got like a clash. So who knows what those vibrations and if they go with your date of birth. So that's a conundrum there.
Yeah. So guys, good luck with my numerology. I need to simplify my name. So if you saw my face, but then I have a different name, Rochelle literally changed my name, guys.
Well, we'll talk after for sure. We will.
Oh my
Well,
lord. Oh, wait, what did you say? These numbers lead me down the rabbit hole led to birth charts and astrology and physics. Goodness, it's so fascinating, right?
it
Isn't
is.
it, Michelle? This is why we need Rochelle. Now you all know why I need Rochelle in my life. This is why. Because I need some guidance, yo. Like, that's why when people which one is it? I said, I'm serious. Like, I feel like I have ADHD too. So it's like, how many people working? Like, do you sleep? I'm like, I think there's seven people inside me that I don't know that comes out. And when I wake up, I'm like, wow, I did all my to-do lists. I don't remember doing half of them. I don't know. Right? It's like it's so crazy. But yeah, my grandmother, it calls me different. And then my aunt and my cousin calls me different too.
It probably does because I had a friend that his name was Binyam, but he was called BB. So everybody called him BB. And I said, well, they're in conflict because they're totally different vibrations of numbers along with your birthday. In fact, it was
Wow.
not a good vibration. And everything that we broke down, he was exactly that way. His
Oh,
personality, everything. So,
Well, my mom calls me baby, but in baby word in our language, it's called tata. Tata means
okay.
baby. So then my mom calls me that. And then my dad calls me different. I'm telling you. That's why I'm like, listen, if I'm confused and I answer you confusedly, I don't know which part of me or whose side of me came out at that day. I don't know. I'm
That's
not
crazy.
responsible. Yeah.
Okay, good
I
idea.
am I'm
Not
responsible.
responsible.
There's the accountability partnership. I'm sorry, y'all. I am definitely accountable, but it's this has been an interesting. So here's what I'm gonna tell you guys, just to kind of close the loop, right? Like we're talking and laughing about it, but in all honesty, I do believe that numbers of destiny empower your life through numerology, because the more intentional you are about what your life is fulfilled, and just kind of review it. Don't close it off. Like, oh my God, this is so weird. It is, because it's new. Everything new is weird. Hello, AI is weird. Like, right? But don't discount it just because you don't know it. Don't knock it till you try it, is all I'm saying.
Mm,
You gotta really, before, see, this is what I'm saying. Like, before you close that door, know it first. Know it if it's not for you. But don't just close it because it's weird to you, right? Try
mhm.
it. Just like food. Like I try weird foods and I'm like, oh, okay, this one, not for me. But I tried it, right? Is there any last minute thing that you would like to discuss or tell the people about anything what you are doing, Rochelle?
I think the only thing I could say ultimately that, well, I've got my fingers in so many different pies, trying to support many people in their journey and give that inspiration, because as I always say, one person's story can inspire someone else to make a change or make a step in that right direction. But if I had listened to all the people that were naysayers, and I had listened to the people that told me back 20 years ago when I walked away from the things that I walked away of, where would I be? I chose to make my path. I chose the life I wanted to live. And I encourage anybody out there, who cares what everybody else thinks? It's your life. You make the choices you want. Embrace the things that feel and vibe to you, and throw everything to the side. You only get one lifetime, so why not live it to the fullest?
Yeah. And everything I realized too, and Michelle Ramos, you're still here, right, sis? When I had a conversation with her, sometimes you get curious and you get into the gossip world, like, oh my God, so and so said something about you, and you want to hear what they say, right? Because you're like, oh my God, what did they say? But you know what? I think I'm gonna practice muting that. Like it's like TV, like when you're muting something, right? Because I have this huge. My husband, I was crying the other day, and my husband felt bad, so he got me this huge. I still know how to take this desktop. It's huge, my like in front of me right now, and I, I really realized that when we invite negative energy, we
Hmm.
deserve what's coming. I'm sorry, we deserve what's coming, right? It's because it's a choice. So now it's like if people say, "Hey, CJ, so and so said this to you," I'm gonna tell you right now, okay? YouTube, you hear me? It's like almost 1,000 people here. If you're gonna come at me with like so and so says this, I'm gonna mute you. Not because I don't respect you, but I respect me and my energy. I'm
Hmm.
gonna say, "Can you return that to sender?" Because I don't really
Hmm.
care what so and so A, B, C, and D said about me. That's their problem, not mine. I'm staying on my lane. I'm not going to go in anybody's lane. I know what I'm good at. I know what I'm not good at. And I'm staying in this lane because I'm working on me. Heck, Raschell just told me I'm in static. Who wants to be in static? Nobody. Okay. So I'm working on that static so I can tune into my vibration so I can help more people. Um, but me listening to all this negativity and all that, yeah, okay, you can keep it to yourself. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to mute those negativity
Good
because,
idea.
right?
Yep.
I love this.
There's always people. There's always people that are going to be that way, but that's their problem. That sounds like their problem, not a
I
you
know,
problem.
not my problem. That's your problem. That's a you problem. I'm
That's a
trying to
you
work on
problem.
the seven CJs inside of me, right? Tune in vibration. I don't know which one is the target. Who knows? CJ
Yep.
doesn't even know who CJ is today. I don't know if it's Constance coming out or the Jeffer or the James. I don't know. I am a James too. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you.
I love
But
it.
yeah, right? So, Rochelle, do you have a favorite quote?
Oh, a favorite quote. I think the one that I use a lot is, and I don't remember who said it, but whatever you think, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right either way. Right? You can, if you believe you can't do it, then you can't. If you believe you can do it, then you can. That's probably one of my favorite because ultimately it's up to you. It's your choice. We all have a choice. It's up to you.
Wow. Thank you so much, Rochelle. Please stay in there.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody,
Yes.
for Rochelle. Guys, I love this conversation. I just want to shout out, okay, to my new friend. You see, that's Homer and Mrs. Azucena del Campo. And Homer said that his mom loves to sing. His mom is his best friend. He is looking for a job, guys. So if you have a remote jobs that he could do, he does VA stuff as well. I'm trying to help him as much as I can. But if you need VA help, please contact me and I'll hook you up with Homer. He's an amazing man. He is ready to go and work. And life is just hard right now. And we are a global citizen. He is located in the Philippines and I can speak his language. I still speak Filipino, like Tagalog and Bisaya. I still speak those dialect. Okay, you can't talk behind my back. But I love you all. Thank you guys so much for being here. My beautiful sister Susanna right here, and my brother Mike also right here. The Hounds of Business Community. He is sick right now, so I'm hoping that he will feel better. Please pray for good energy for Mike because we all need it. Love you guys so much. Bye, everybody.